And a few organizations have more sensitive data than others. And the CIA is absolutely one of those agencies that has more sensitive data. And our next speaker is going to explain how AWS has empowered the CIA to maintain their security posture and at the same time increasing their pace of innovation to stay one step ahead of the enemy at all times. Alexa, who's our next speaker?
Please welcome Sean Roche, Associate Deputy Director, CIA for Digital Innovation.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Sean Roche, and I'm CIA's Deputy Director for all things digital. Last year, my CIO, John Edwards, stood on this stage and talked about all the performance we needed to get from the cloud and what it would do for our mission. I'm here a year later to tell you that it's been nothing short of transformational. It has transformed our ability to build new capabilities, and it's transformed our ability to solve seemingly impossible intelligence problems. First, I want to start out with something that, if you don't remember anything else, I want you to remember the message of thank you to all you who serve in the public sector, to all of you who are working with us, to all of you who yet to work with us, or are just coming up with innovative solutions that make this country great. Thank you very much. Now, this transformation, let's talk about this. You do not move to the cloud or buy new hardware so you can host legacy services. That doesn't make sense. This can't be a celebration of Lotus Notes, okay? So this is what you discover about your IT when you move to the cloud. That there is an iceberg out there, and remember, it was the bottom half of the iceberg that sunk the Hindenburg. It sunk the Titanic. Sunk the Titanic. Hindenburg, we'll get to that later. That bottom half is incredibly big. It's indirect emission. It's the part above the waterline that we need to focus on, and that's where the cloud takes you. You'll also discover, and we discovered something completely that we cannot accept. The data that we gather, sometimes gathered at great, enormous risk, cannot be locked into proprietary data structures and proprietary databases that were optimized for a client-server system with licensing agreements that make timeshare condos in Florida look good. So there you have the new iceberg, with more above the waterline, which means more mission above the waterline. But I'll tell you something, no amount of global warming is going to make that bottom half go away. You're going to have to work on it. Let's talk about the transformation of how we're changing the way we do business. You have a lot of people today on a client-server system trying desperately to maintain a cacophony of that grew up over years. Legacy systems where we don't know the connectivity, the configuration, or the compliance, the ability to patch as fast as we need to. Plan B. Okay. Security. You've heard security. Security is an absolutely existential need for everything we do at the agency. The cloud, on its weakest day, is more secure than a client-server solution. I'll say that again. On its weakest day, the cloud is more secure. Encryption runs seamlessly at multiple levels with no hit to performance, because some other speaker said it. If you want security, you've got to make it easy on the user. It's the way legacy process for developing what was called software solution. We call them mission solutions, applications. This fundamentally swims against the nature of the technology of the cloud. So this violates nature. This is wrong. It takes too much time. This is the bottom half of the iceberg. This is the acquisition process. It crushes souls. We can't get to where we need unless we make the cloud software, truly software as a service. Software as a service cannot start with the acquisition cycle. Commercial and private companies doing no business with the government have to have an on-ramp in. This is the transformation that the cloud's allowed for us. We've taken companies doing no business with the government, even no business off-prem for them, and take their shrink-wrap software and have it up and running in the field, supporting operations in less than 4 months. You can only do that on the cloud. Now, this is your developer. DevOps, that's a term that made no sense. It made it sound like one unified team, when in fact it was 3 teams: developers, operators, and then integrators. Working that waterfall process, it took too long and rarely satisfied the requirements. Now, in the cloud, the developer actually does something he enjoys doing. He develops. He develops and iterates at a rapid rate. The teams are very small now. It's a data scientist, it's a programmer, and it's an analyst. 3 people. Putting them in the right environment, giving them the right problem. This is the environment. The age of expeditionary intelligence means going very, very unfriendly places very quickly to solve very tough problems. It means swarming a worldwide workforce always on a Friday night with language, analysis, and other capabilities. The terrible attack to November 2015, Friday night. Turkish coup, Friday night. I think most things are planned around East Coast time, Friday night. We can now leverage a worldwide workforce with no latency, dragging down huge files and doing analysis, and have answers by Saturday morning. That's what the cloud does for us. We send those small teams of 3 forward to the field. And the best part about that is there's no lag in understanding the, quote, requirements, because we sit them with people who were angry 2 months ago because they didn't have a solution, and they tend to give very candid, unvarnished feedback. Our teams of 3 or 4 have gone forward and very quickly learned what must be done, do it quickly, and in less than 30 days, coding in the field without even optimum bandwidth, have delivered amazing capabilities. In the case of finding people we care about, knowing who they are, what they're doing, their intentions, where they are, we've been able to deliver solutions that in 30 days not only identify and answer those questions, but allow us to scale that across multiple mission sets seamlessly. That now has become the job of headquarters, not that endless acquisition cycle. So let's talk about the buzzword of the day, artificial intelligence. We have a little game on Fridays. If you say artificial intelligence, you got to take a shot. Well, not really, I'm kidding. But it should be that way sometimes. We have to make it real. We are doing machine learning today for what? Our job is human. So we're taking those databases that exist about you, the data that is already there, the data that's structured and unstructured, some data that's being created, and aggregate that data very, very quickly in the cloud environment to build a digital signature, to understand our digital self, our digital fingerprint, because we have to move. Here's where we're going, and here's where you can play a big role. As we move to deep learning, we will always be on the ground. We will always be in the field. At CIA, we will need solutions that help us move as we move dynamically through an environment that not only has static data that can be aggregated, but data we are actively creating through the Internet of Things that is pinging off of us and that we can create. This deep learning solutions will inform the tradecraft that allows us to continue forward human. This is where we're going. Some people are worried about AI. Don't be. I like what Gerhard Leonhard said. He's a Scandinavian futurist. Human flourishing must remain the core objective of all technological process. Humanistic futurism. The machines will not be taking over. I want to end the way I started. I want to say thank you for what you do. I want to say thank you to everyone who's serving in the public sector. Thank you to the teams who are offering up solutions in private industry and our industrial partners. Thank you for doing what you do because you make this the greatest country ever. Have a great summit.